from humble beginnings to unstoppable success.
Not having any choices. Actually, we in the school when we were there, we were never told what are the career options open.
Not necessarily a person who's scoring better marks would do better in life. It's not a necessary thing.
It was very, very interesting. And it was something which I had not even imagined in my life कि यह भी करना पड़ेगा मुझे इस तरीके का था वो. So we had to work for 3 days in a hotel and 3 days study in the college.
Hospitality management में तो जो आपके personal relationships हैं, जो business relationships हैं, ये बहुत important role play करते हैं.
You cannot afford to make a mistake, and that was something which sets your standards basically. We had to deal with workers who were much senior than us, years of working experience, and you had to handle them with very care because you are a fresher from the college. We had airlines crew, we had flights being laid off, so we had all the passengers, we had newsmakers, we had business magnates, we had troublemakers. As a principal of IHM, we are also an expert member of the classification committee. So we had to go to all the hotels to do inspection and grade them as 5-star or whatever it is like.
So sir, आपके बुक की अगर हम बात करें तो उसका जो कवर अगर हम देखें तो उसमें ताज होटल की फोटो है.
I put this purposely. It tells you something.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of BFC Publications podcast. यहाँ हम मिलते हैं राइटर्स से और जानते हैं उनकी बुक्स के बारे में एंड ऑल्सो उनकी पर्सनल जर्नी के बारे में. तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का एपिसोड. ओके, सो अगर मैं आपसे बोलूँ फ्रॉम हम्बल बिगिनिंग्स टू अनस्टॉपेबल सक्सेस, ये सुन के आई एम श्योर आप लोगों को लगा होगा, आप लोग समझ चुके होंगे कि ये किसी की सक्सेस स्टोरी है. एंड यू आर नॉट रॉन्ग एंटायरली, बट हियर्स द कैच. कोई भी सक्सेस ईजिली नहीं मिलती है. उसके पीछे बहुत सारा हार्डवर्क होता है, बहुत सारा डेडिकेशन होता है, बहुत सारा सैक्रिफाइस होता है. बस ऐसी ही एक जर्नी के बारे में आज हम बात करने वाले हैं. ऐसे ही एक शख्स से आज हम मिलने वाले हैं जिन्होंने हम्बल बिगिनिंग से अपनी लाइफ को एक 360 डिग्री टर्न ओवर दिया है. तो बिना किसी डीले के लेट्स मीट मिस्टर राज कुमार सक्सेना, आवर वेरी ओन लखनवी लैड. और आज हम बात करेंगे उनकी जर्नी के बारे में और उनकी किताब के बारे में, उनकी ऑटोबायोग्राफी के बारे में, फ्रॉम हम्बल बिगिनिंग्स टू अनस्टॉपेबल सक्सेस ऑफ अ लखनवी लैड. वेलकम टू आवर शो सर.
थैंक यू.
सो सर, आपका जो ये टाइटल है, आपकी किताब का जो टाइटल है फ्रॉम हम्बल बिगिनिंग्स टू अनस्टॉपेबल सक्सेस, सो आप हमें अपने हम्बल बिगिनिंग के बारे में एक बार थोड़ा बताइए कि लाइक हाउ चैलेंजिंग वाज योर लाइफ इनिशियली एंड कैसे आपने उसको पूरी तरह से एक टर्न ओवर दिया है.
वेल, humble beginning, actually it was a combination of humble and not so humble beginning actually. But the percentage of not so humble was very less and humble was more actually. And moreover, a humble beginning was associated with little bit of self-pity also.
Okay.
Yeah. So like normal Lucknow, Tier B or city, I was growing here. And the humble part was schooling, social life, etc., normal. And not so humble was when I was visiting my, relatives who were very well off kind of, So that was a combination of the humble and not so humble. So as I said, not so humble was a little bigger portion of it. And what actually taught me, this humble beginning taught me, is to be realistic, balanced, not go overboard, remain grounded, do simple things, That's what humble beginning actually taught me.
All right.
Yeah.
सो सर, आपके करियर चॉइस जो आपका रहा है, आपका जो करियर रहा है, इट्स वेरी डाइवर्स. इसके बारे में आप हमें थोड़ा बताइए कि ये जो ट्रांजिशंस हुए हैं, आपने पहले BSc की, देन फिर आप हॉस्पिटैलिटी मैनेजमेंट में हैं, नाउ यू आर अ राइटर. तो ये ट्रांजिशंस कैसे हुए एंड क्या ऐसे कुछ लाइफ इवेंट्स थे जिन्होंने इन ट्रांजिशंस को इन्फ्लुएंस किया?
या इशिता, एक्चुअली द चैलेंजेस वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट as humble beginning, the main challenges were like not having any choices. Actually, we in the school when we were there, we were never told what are the career options open.
Right.
What are the there was no vocational guidance as such, in the schools which are not really upscale, and very little guidance from the parents, because the lifestyle was little different in those days. People were busy with their own affairs, and there was nothing like preparing for an entrance examination or taking a coaching and things like that. So in absence of that, we just went with the flow, whatever came your way. So normal thing was, do 10th, high school, inter, then get into graduation, and then you look for what you want to do further.
Right.
So that's how it was. But then I realized there's a lot to do when I shifted from Mumbai to Mumbai, actually, after inter.
Okay.
But there were a lot of issues in the sense that I was studying here in Lucknow in Hindi medium first. Secondly, there was a late admission issue. And thirdly, because of all this, it took some time for me to settle down. And then, my grades were not all that good.
Okay.
So all these were challenges. And actually, I found myself isolated. I didn't know what to do, whom to talk. So the only thing was that I started looking for, what are the options available with my kind of qualification. What are the options available? It included the options which did not ask for graduation also.
Okay.
Because, because of the poor grades. So anyway, so I started applying for various entrances without any preparation, nothing like that. So ultimately it turned out to be like this. I was stuck with a situation like Hobson's choice, which means there are plenty of things to choose from, but you have no choice. Actually, you got stuck with one. And that actually proved lucky for me.
Right. Okay.
So that's how I landed into the hospitality course. Later on, I realized, well, God has been great. Thank you.
ओके सो एक्चुअली आपने बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कई सारी चीज़ें यहाँ बताई. पहली तो ये चीज़ कि कोई भी आपके जो ग्रेड्स होते हैं या मार्क्स होते हैं, दे डोंट डिफाइन यू. Not necessarily a person who's scoring better marks would do better in life. It's not a necessary thing, and there are chances कि आप जैसे आपके थे आपके you were good at different fields, you were good at a different thing, and you took it, pursued it as your career option, and I think that has made all the difference. Also जो आपने ये बताया कि कई schools में करियर काउंसलिंग नहीं होती है, जो अब होने लगी, बट पहले के टाइम पे ये नहीं होती थी. अगेन दैट्स अ वेरी पर्टिनेंट इशू जो आपने रेज किया कि ये एक प्रॉब्लम रहती है बच्चों की. एंड देन थर्डली आपका जो एक कल्चरल शिफ्ट हुआ होगा कि लखनऊ से मुंबई जाने का, तो दैट मस्ट हैव बीन अ लिटिल डिफिकल्ट.
I was lost actually. Basically I was lost, and it was a combination कि अरे कहाँ, what, where am I now?
हाँ, मुंबई इज अ सिटी दैट नेवर स्लीप्स, एंड लखनऊ में सब कुछ बहुत आराम से होता है.
एग्जैक्टली.
ओके सो सर, आपने जो हॉस्पिटैलिटी इंडस्ट्री में व्हेन यू स्टेप्ड इनटू दैट इंडस्ट्री, सो व्हाट वाज द एक्सपीरियंस लाइक? आपके पहले एक्सपीरियंसेस कैसे थे? हाउ डिड यू नेविगेट योर वे इन दैट इंडस्ट्री?
इट वाज वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, एंड इट वाज समथिंग व्हिच आई हैड नॉट इवन इमेजिन्ड इन माय लाइफ कि यह भी करना पड़ेगा मुझे. इस तरीके का था वो. So it was a 3 years course, and then there was a post diploma 4th year. So 4 years I was in the academics.
Okay.
And actually normally ये होता है बाकी courses में कि after the course you actually interact with the industry. But here it wasn't like this. Okay. From the very first year of studies, you got you got to interact with the So as students, we had to. I had to, participate in many weekend activities, like whether it was upscale hotel, or whether it was a banquet, or whether it was a wedding, whether it was a club, or whether it was a embassy. We through the college we were sent to organize the different type of events, including services and production, etc., etc. So we got, under supervision, of course, not we can't handle the in those initial stages. So that interaction started from there.
Okay.
And at that stage, what happens is that you have this dilemma, okay, am I in the right place? Whether I'm liking it or not. तो वो make or break point होता है वहाँ पे.
Okay.
So then I realized, there is so much to do, in this profession, and so that's how it started actually. And luckily for me, when we did this post diploma fourth year, we call it fourth year post diploma course, it was a sandwich program. So we had to work for 3 days in a hotel and 3 days study in the college.
Okay.
And that 3 days a week in industry was a full shift, in a particular department. And we were sponsored by the college. So my principal was good enough to place me in the topmost hotel of the country, which is Taj Mahal. That's a landmark.
It is.
And the kind of, though you are not a full-time employee, but actually you are performing a full-time job there during your entire shift. And during a span of one academic year, you are being shifted from one department to another another. And that experience was, you can imagine a place where the service quality is paramount. You cannot afford to make a mistake.
Right.
And that was something which, sets your standards basically. Okay, this. And soon after that, when the course got over, I got absorbed into which was more or less obvious, after working for 1 year. Then I was in full time. So that exposure, started with the best of the best hotel and best of the best operations, and that's how, I developed the love for the industry, you can say.
All right.
And it didn't end there, because then a well-wisher from my ex-head of the department, who was teaching me earlier, he used to like me. So he had later joined House of Salgaonkars in Goa as hotel division director. So he asked me, there's a vacancy there for a general manager in a 4-star hotel. Would you be interested? So I said, why not?
Why not?
So because, working in a 5-star deluxe hotel is different from working in a 4-star, hotel. There you are responsible for its reputation, its financial, results, etc., etc. And you are managing the whole entire, and you are working 24/7 because you're staying in the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a different. So that's how the transition took place, and life has been good.
So you have traveled as well. So आप काफ़ी कल्चर्स में रह चुके हैं, काफ़ी लोगों से मिले हैं. आपने बताया आपके काफ़ी इंटरैक्शंस भी हुए हैं. ये आपने अपनी बुक में भी मेंशन किया है इन इंटरैक्शंस के बारे में. So how did these interactions, change your perspective, change your worldview? That's
very interesting question, because and it's important as well. When I was in institute, we interacted with so many. In the hostel, you have people from all over India. We had students from abroad as well.
Okay.
So that was a kind of where you had to act with everybody, and the faculty also included people from south, from north, and, everywhere. Sometimes we had chefs from abroad, who came for demonstrations and things like that. And then when we went for different events, we had to interact with, different set of people, different occasion, different moods, different things. So in a subtle way, it started, their understanding people, what we know as people management.
Right.
And then when I joined Taj, it was a different set of people we had to deal with. We had to deal with workers who were much senior than us, years of working experience, and you had to handle them with very care because, you are a fresher from the college. Guests, all international, different nationalities. We had airlines crew. We had flights being laid off, so we had all the passengers. We had newsmakers. We had business magnates. We had troublemakers, and all kinds of, diplomats and things like that. It's really, it's such a variety of people that you had to really interact with, and it's a busy hotel, so you don't have luxury of having so much time, that. So you had to interact, and you had to interact swiftly and solve the problems. So this was extremely useful, and we used to work in shifts sometimes. So you have early morning arrivals, you have late night departures, things like that, groups, etc., etc. And then when I shifted to Goa, it was a entirely different setup. It was a port town. It's known as Vasco da Gama, but now people call it Vasco. So there's a Marmagua Port Trust there, and Goa is famous for exporting iron ore, basically. So there's a lot of ship movement, and these ships are basically carrying the iron ore from here to different countries. Major customers were Japanese and Koreans. So they would take the iron ore from here, they would take it to their countries and convert it into ships or machinery or whatever. Okay. So we had this crowd, which was buyers. So we had constant teams coming from Japan and from Korea. We had ships coming in from various companies, which were mostly Greek and Norwegian. So their crew would come, and there will be change of crew, and things like that. Then we had ship repairers, and we had iron ore is brought to the port via river and barges. So we had lots of barge owners. So they would load the iron ore there and then bring it to port, and then it will be shipped. It will be put in the ships. And of course, it was Vasco is a naval air base, in the sense the aircrafts which Navy is using. So we had Russian aircrafts. So we had Russian groups staying for years and years like that. Okay. So it was a different mix altogether. And there was a lot of development work going on in the Marmagua Port Trust. So we had long-staying customers from Australia. So that was a different kind of an experience. And then we changed when I shifted from Goa to Bangalore and Lucknow and Bombay in IHMs. It was a different story in the sense that we had to interact with the educators. We had to participate in seminars and workshops abroad and in India, doing courses and things like that. So I went to Cornell for 2-3 courses, etc., etc. So you had international participants there as well. And as a principal of IHM, we are also an expert member of the classification committee. So we had to go to all the hotels to do inspection and, grade them as 5-star or whatever it is like that. So there were a lot of different, parents, students, variety of people. It's not like you're a chartered accountant and you're just dealing with your, 25 clients and that's about it, and income tax officials. No, it's not like that. It's a huge different, and everybody expects different kind of, response from you. So it was very... Now, the thing which actually I learned from all this was very, very, very simple actually. One should not have a prenomination or presume, that get biased, about anybody, any country or any nationality or any person from within our society. I think one should presume that they are nice and everybody is helpful, and just get into the dialogue or whatever interaction you want, and then take the positives out of it and just ignore the negatives.
Right.
In fact, it's very simple. There's nothing great about it. But some people have these, pre-notions, okay, how is this guy going to be, or how this group is going to behave, and what should we... No, it's not like that. People are nice, basically. I mean, if you start with the presumption people are nice, everything is fine. There's no issue.
We are too quick to judge at times.
Yeah, so I think prejudice minds I detest. I don't... So that was a great learning, valuable learning from interacting with people.
Indeed.
Different cultures, different food, habits, different style of living is fine. You got to just extract the best out of it and leave the rest. What's the problem?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, sir, you've met people from all spheres of life. एंड आपने कई जगह काम भी किया है, आपने ताज में काम किया है, यू हैव वर्कड इन 4-star होटल्स एंड बैंगलोर में, गोवा में, मुंबई, लखनऊ, आपने बहुत जगह काम किया है एंड आपने काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें नोटिस की होंगी, काफ़ी कुछ ऑब्जर्व किया होगा कि दिस इज़ व्हाट्स गोइंग राइट, दिस इज़ वेयर यू फील यू माइट हैव फेल्ट कि थोड़े बहुत चेंजेस ज़रूरी हैं. तो जब आप एकेडमिक्स में गए, सो इन सारी चीज़ों ने आई एम श्योर कहीं ना कहीं मे बी कुछ इन्फ्लुएंस आपके दिमाग में डाला होगा, आपके ऊपर डाला होगा, ये बातें रह गई होंगी आपके साथ में.
डेफिनेटली.
सो कैसे इन सारी चीज़ों ने, इन एक्सपीरियंसेस ने आपके पॉलिसी मेकिंग में, आपके पॉलिसी चेंजेस में और गवर्नेंस में क्या चेंजेस लाए, एंड हाउ डिड यू यूज दीज एक्सपीरियंसेस टू चेंज पॉलिसीज एंड गवर्नेंस?
इट्स वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन बिकॉज द setups in IHM is entirely different from the industry setup. See, Ishita is like this. IHMs are part of government bodies. They are actually autonomous bodies which come under Ministry of Tourism. So, all the Government of India rules, central government rules, are applicable to the IHMs.
Right.
Though there is a lot of flexibility provided because of its autonomous nature, because these are autonomous bodies. So within those parameters, within those guidelines, the Board of Governors can get into some decisions which are in line with the Government of India policy. But all said and done, it has its limitations. You cannot, it's not private sector where it's not Elon Musk, you do whatever you want. So so different IHMs had different challenges depending on its reputation, its location, its faculty, its infrastructure, etc., etc. So you cannot generalize, the challenges which are, generally, applicable to all IHMs. Each IHM has its own specific issues. Let me just give you one example. IHM Mumbai, of which I was a student and principal, was set up in year 1953. It's one of the oldest institute in whole of Asia or world, I'm not sure. I think Cornell and IHM were set up in the same years. But Lucknow and Bangalore, these became a full-fledged IHMs a little later, much later, in fact.
Okay.
So, obviously there is a reputation, building issue here, and so on and so forth. So, but as I said, there is, within the boundaries, there is a lot of scope for, there is flexibility. So, now, to my thinking, it is the set of teachers who are available in the particular IHM. That's the most important factor. And infrastructure is important, but I think a good set of teachers is the most important thing. And what happens is that there are what you call selection committee, employment rules, advertisements and this and pay scales, how the government works. So within that, if you are expecting that a smart person you want from industry to join the IHM is a bit difficult, because, the kind of scope of scales and growth, etc. is so one has to be, when you are when you are head of the institution, one of the most important thing you have to keep in mind that you have good teachers, and you have to keep on prospecting, from your network, whatever network, alumni or whatever, so to make sure that you get good teachers. You have best of infrastructure within those limited funds available, etc., etc. So now, depending on the infrastructure, like in IHM Mumbai, we have a training hotel.
Okay.
So we have something like 40-50 rooms there, which is used for training. So how can you utilize that to enhance your income? Because though these are autonomous bodies, they are self-financed.
Okay.
The government of India used to provide money only for capital buildings and things like that. But operations, the thing you have to manage on your own.
All right.
So you can organize executive development programs which will increase your occupancy as well. And also you can bring in experts from the industry and from within your institute. And that's a very good platform for, interaction with the industry as well as industry executives, and also enhance the quality of our own, teaching staff, things like that. And then marketing of the institute, basically it's a very continuous job, in the sense that since you are visiting so many hotels for classification, since you are participating in so many industry seminars, and you are having alumni all over the world, every 25 years, 50 years, they come to institute, and we have a strong network of alumni all over. Each institute has its own. And so what's important for us, not only to teach the students, but to make sure that they get jobs.
Right, placements.
So our efforts while developing the institute and the faculty and the infrastructure is on, our effort is also on looking at the placements. And we have to make sure that we are in touch with all the HR of the company, whether it's a small, big, or different. There are different sectors of industry. So now, in fact, it has become it's not restricted to only hospitality. It has become applicable to the service industry as well. Now, banks and a lot of NGOs, and everybody is picking up students from us. So, organizing pre-placements or campus recruitments, etc., is also at the back of your mind all the time. Yeah, that's how it is. So there's another aspect, which one has to take care of as a head of the institution, is looking at the international collaborations. That's very important. And so we always interact with our hospitality counterparts all over the world. And when I was in Mumbai, we had collaborations with Canadian institutes, and they visited us. We visited them. We had collaborations with one of the American universities, etc. And every year we have this organization called CRE, where all the hospitality educators from all over the world meet.
Okay.
So that's a big platform where you can find like-minded people who are interested in exchange offers and so on and so forth. So we had a nice exchange program with France, where one of their topmost hotel school we agreed on exchanging our students for internships.
Okay.
So they would send their students to us for internship and 6 months internship, and we will send our students there for 6 months internship. Similarly, a lot of our alumni are all spread all over the world. So in Dubai, now in February, I think they have a air show, just like we are having one in Bangalore nowadays. So Dubai Air Show is one of the top air shows in the world. France and UK does it also. They are also very famous. It's the Emirates Airways which organizes the entire event. So we have our alumni there. So we fixed up students to help them with the events. And every year they used to, when I was there, but now things have changed because of it has to suit our academic calendar. We cannot spare students for 10 days, to go off the premises. So they would send one of the Emirates plane to us, and our entire about 140 students would go there and help them with the event for 10 days, which included event management at the air show, arrivals at the airport, and then they had the tent city somewhere in the desert. So all that, these kind of interactions, the
logistical part of it.
Yeah, you have to keep in. So it's not just about studies and infrastructure. At the same time, you have to also think about upgradation, of what you're doing now. In-course assessment is an ongoing process which goes on during all the 3 years. And this forms a part of the entire, your academic records, your your marks are. So we had to change, and it takes a lot of time for teachers to get involved with that evaluation and things like that. So we had to develop online internal assessments, just you go there, take a 45 minutes test, and then the results are out the next day, on this instantly, things like that.
To fasten up the process.
Digitization. We have to think like CEOs actually, how to enhance your income, how to enhance your academics, how to enhance your placements, how to enhance your reputation, etc., etc.
Right,
Exactly like that. In our lobby, there used to be big crowd, during admissions, and we had to solve this problem. There would be parents hanging around, students, this and that. So what we did was we put about 10 PCs in those days. I'm talking about. So which were like self-help thing. You don't have to go to counter to ask all those stupid questions. These are all there. It's open, whatever you want, all the info is there. So things like that, So this is how, basically your policy has to be within the framework, but it has to look that, it has to look as if it doesn't look like a government setup. It looks like a, A grade, So that's the gist of it. So we did a lot of things. I mean, I can keep on talking about what we did, but basically the general scenario is like this: overall development of the institute and the students, and post studies, keeping in touch with them. So this is very, very, very important. Networking is the key.
Right.
Networking is the key word, actually.
Right.
That's how it is, yeah.
Okay, so networking, you just mentioned networking, and this brings me to the next question. So you mentioned that there were exchange programs that happened during your tenure. They still keep on happening. So these exchange programs, they open the door for you to meet different people, different cultures, and hospitality management में तो जो आपके personal relationships हैं, जो business relationships हैं, ये बहुत important role play करते हैं. So आप हमें थोड़ा इसके बारे में बताएंगे, please.
Actually, जो IHMs हैं, they are part of the industry. They are not like separate, like engineering college or or any other, say, IT college, BTech in computer technology. It's not like that. It's very much part of the industry. We are so much closely associated with the hotels and not only hotels, restaurants, anything. Like now you have Amani's Geo, that thing, they have excellent, things there to manage, auditorium, this, that school. Any sector which requires hospitality or customer-oriented people. Let me put it broadly.
Right.
Customer, it's not necessarily that you are into hoteliering. If this actually grooms you into a customer-oriented person, which means customer is the ultimate. That's how it is. So we are a very much part of the industry. We don't see ourselves as a educational institute which is only involved in giving degrees and things like that. So that's how it is. And since I said, that we had so many inputs coming from, alumni, the industries, professors. As far as international collaborations are concerned, it's not only about just having collaborations, it's upgrading skills as well. See, when we had a lot of events there in which Japanese were involved, Thai people were involved, French people were involved. What they would do is, they would send a master chef who will conduct 3-4 sessions for our students on molecular cuisine or something different. Somebody from Thai will come, and then they will have a Thai cuisine kind of a thing. Not necessarily limited to only cuisines. It's like you have back of the office, you have softwares, how to generate more revenue and things like so. So those kind of workshops where you work on different softwares and things like that. We had Japanese consulate involvement, and we were doing Japanese workshops and all that. So our faculty, the consulate sponsored our faculty to visit Japan and go to the places which are, like where the original soya sauce is made, kikoman and things like that, which is like 100, 200 years old. And it's more than academic. It's deep into the industry kind of a thing. So that's where it all works out actually. So if you go to Lucknow here also, you ask them. I've been watching their website. Last 2 months they have been having campus placements. People are coming from various places, and then they're picking up students. The exams are to happen only in March and April, and they would be,
Please.
So it's like that. And then the growth from there, that whatever you absorbed. One of our star student from Lucknow is Chef Ranveer Brar. So he was my student here.
Okay.
There are lots of, there are many like that, Bombay has produced so many Michelin stars, people. Sanjeev Kapoor also is a IHM product. There are many. I mean, I can countless. So we don't see IHMs as only an academic institution. We see it as a part of the industry. That's what I'm coming to.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. So sir, इतने बड़े पोजीशंस पे रह के इतना सारा काम करके लाइफ कभी कभी थोड़ी डिफिकल्ट सी हो जाती है. ऐसे में फैमिली बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल करती है आपको सपोर्ट करने में, आपको अपलिफ्ट करने में. So आप हमें अगर थोड़ा उस बारे में बता सकें, हाउ डिड योर फैमिली सपोर्ट यू इन योर जर्नी?
Family has been extremely helpful, and I would say extremely patient actually, because except Bangalore, in Mumbai and in Lucknow, we were staying on the premises, and when you are on the premises, it's 24/7 job. You have hostels, you have international hostels. You have things which are going on, you have staff quarters. So you have a lot of, you are actually on the job 24/7. And family has been very patient, or whatever no matter how busy we are, but so a lot of support from family. They never interfered in my work. And they never liked also my work. When I asked them, you want to join this industry? They said, no way. It's too much work.
It's too much work, right?
So that was so family has been great support. And we have being my, in my younger days, when I was, after 10th, I went to Mumbai and, lost contact with my parents, like I was literally there. And once I went to Mumbai, then I never, I studied there, and then I did graduation, then I did hotel management, then I worked there, then I went to Goa. So I knew how, not stressful, how unusual it is not to be with your, parents and things like that. So I made sure, that wherever I am, and we are all together, and whether it is when I was in the job and whether it is now, we are all, very close-knit family. And we have regards for each, everybody. Like it's mutual. It's nice.
Staying away from your family was difficult for you as well as a family.
Exactly.
Because दोनों को मिलने का मन कर रहा है, टाइम चाहिए, but then
हाँ,
you're
तो आपको
preoccupied with
इंश्योर
so
करना
much
है कि आप जो हैं ऐसी circumstances ना प्रोड्यूस करें. And that was one of the factor. My wife said, आप 24/7 you are in the hotel, kabhi late night, kabhi ye wo. So actually, when the offer came to join academics, she was overjoyed, jumping, like, okay, it's 9 to 5 when weekends off, like. But it didn't work out like that. Okay. But mentally, or she was okay, 9 to 5 government job, fine, it's like that.
All right. So sir, अब हम वापस एक बार conversation को आपके being a writer, So
okay,
what was the journey like? मतलब वो writing process जो था, आपने कैसे सोचा कि you are going to write your autobiography now, and वो जो memories थी, countless memories हैं, countless experiences हैं, उनको recall करना है, उनको एक साथ एक जगह लिखना. So what was the writing process like?
See, yeah, that's very interesting. See, when I was when I was in the job, it was very difficult to devote any time for creative writing and things like that. It was so. It was then after I retired from there, again another about 4.5 years I worked. I took up assignments in Nepal, and then I took some assignments in Greater Noida. And it was only after 2018 or something like that, when our flat in the Sushant Golf City here got ready, and we got possession. So then I quit once for all. This is a 9 to 5 or 24/7 jobs, whatever you call it. And then a lot of time was devoted to doing up the house interiors and things like that. It was only somewhere in 2000 or 1999, where I got some little free time to
Right.
write. And it was not only writing. It had to be mixed up with family gatherings. We make sure that we make 1 or 2 big trips every year, and then small trips, maybe another 3, 4. So a lot of travel. And I also got involved into the RWA activities of my society. We have a temple. So I am the Karta Dharta of the temple. So there are a lot of other things, In between, I took out some time for writing. So it was not a stressful kind of a thing. It was easy going, and that's why it took little time to, put the thing in order. Coming to the challenges which you're talking about. See, in our times, we never had Facebook or, Google storage facility and things. So there were no pictures available. Some old black and white albums were available. So I had to get them from some of my relatives कि कुछ निकालो पुराना जो कुछ है जो relevant है हमारे. I also realized that you're not Tata or you're not Abul Kalam or you're not somebody big, so who will read your book, things like that. So I thought, let me make it a little more interesting by inserting, little more pictures. And then I realized that when I saw the autobiographies, I saw that the pictures are put in cluster in, 5 pages somewhere. And then in the text, you say refer, go to page number 24 for this, So I thought that doesn't make sense. It has to come right next to the text where you're describing that thing. You get me? So I had little difficulty in getting all those pictures. One of my academician relatives suggested that, you take help of, what is that, Chat GPT. So I tried my hand, but I found it too synthetic actually. I found it that it takes away the essence of, it only makes your prose purple and that's all. I said no way. So that was and normally offers were coming from different publishers. We'll put this editor and things like that. You give the script and we'll but I decided not to use any editor because your originality is yours. So a friend of mine who has written, rather a student of mine, who has written a very beautiful book. So I sent my script to her, and she gave me some suggestions, which I incorporated. So ultimately, this is how the whole work went. And then I was looking at since my previous publications were by HarperCollins and all that. But that was in 1997 when we started. This was my first publication. When I went back, then I found publishing is a different world altogether now. You have to be somebody bigwig, otherwise they won't even look at you, even if you are one of the best-selling authors of earlier years. So I said, no, let me find somebody in Lucknow who will, whom I can deal with. Not very keen on having a big marketing setup, and things like that. But I thought, let it be just a collector's item, and those who wish it, let them, kind of take it and then leave it. It's like that. So these are the kind of challenges which Otherwise, it was a smooth sail. There was no problem. Yeah, it was. I did put in hard work. Early hours when everybody was sleeping, then I used to work. And once they got up, then I got involved with the grandkids and things like that.
So, sir, since we're talking about you as a writer and then your book, so आपने अपनी जो book है वो dedicate की है अपने principal को.
Yes.
So, why? मतलब कोई specific
she's
reason?
not my principal. She's my mentor.
She's your mentor.
She's like she's what I am today is basically because of her. Let me. I think it's. I have put her picture also with the institute back. She was from the day I joined the institute. The first meeting I had was she just asked me a few questions and then she said okay. And then when I was in the second year, when we had to go for vacation Lucknow, she called me in her office and she said, take this letter, go to Clark's Hotel, and Mr. Gupta is our ex-student, you meet him. He's the owner come GM. And I said, I thought myself, how can she remember all this, that out of so many students, you are from which city, you are going, and all the letters are ready, things like that. She used to take personal kind of interest in each and every student, not only me. Great lady. She was from Kerala. And I would not say that she took a liking for me, but she was very, very fair. There was no need and there was no partiality between South Indians, North Indians, and things like that. And it was she who guided me into the Taj. She sponsored me, as an intern for the internship, and then she further helped me getting into the. And then when I was in Goa, she used to come to attend the board meetings of Goa IHM. So she made me, get in closer contact with IHM. So I used to go there and take lectures and do examine things and things like that. So while I was on the job, we used to help the IHM there. So at that point of time, she said, now Saxena, it is time to give back to your alma mater. Or, so that's how it is. So whatever happened, later on with her great, vision and all that, I got into these academics, and that's why I thought she has been a mother figure for me actually.
Beautiful. ओके सो सर आपके बुक की अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं तो उसका जो कवर अगर हम देखें तो उसमें ताज होटल की फोटो है.
Yeah, actually I put this purposely. And, normally there are some IPR issues, when you use some picture. I wrote to them and, of course, they never replied. But, I took silence as the approval. This is what I wanted to put. If you just see, Lucknowi lad and look at this picture, it tells you something. It tells you something. And since this was my first job, this was my first, real world, experience. So I thought there's nothing better than this, to put on the book cover. So this is how I selected this.
Okay.
This was nice. Yeah, it's a message. It gives you a message actually. That if you want, you can reach there.
हाँ.
Yeah, that's
जहाँ चाह वहाँ रहा.
Right, जहाँ चाह वहाँ रहा.
So sir, आप लखनवी लैड हैं and it's all the more befitting कि आपने लखनऊ पे एक किताब भी लिखी है. So हमें उस किताब के बारे में प्लीज़ बताइए. It's called दस्तरखाने अवध. So प्लीज़ हमें उस किताब के बारे में थोड़ा बताइए.
Yeah, actually, when I was posted to Lucknow as a principal, the problem is, with the Lucknowi cuisine, Avadh cuisine is that it has not been documented. We have produced excellent, bawarchis, and our food is appreciated throughout the world. But there's nothing in documentation.
So Dastarkhane
So I thought, since I am from Lucknow, and I'm at an institute which deals with the food. It is in the fitness of the things that we document. And that's how the whole story started. So I joined institute in 1993 here in Lucknow. And then over years we worked with my co-author Sangeeta Bhatnagar. And we did extensive work touring the entire region of Avadh, from Faizabad to Barabanki and all that. Met all the zamindars and all the old traditional houses, how they're cooking and all that. And ultimately with HarperCollins, this book was published for the first time in 1997. And it was very interesting because we didn't know what to do after making the entire script and all that. So we just sent, in those days, dot matrix printer used to be there. So we sent 2 pages or 3 pages to the HarperCollins publishers. And we said, would you be interested in this kind of thing? They said, yes. But there are no... So we said, okay, fine. We have only the script. They said, no, we want pictures. So we got... Anyway, that's a long story. So we said, we don't have money for it. So they said, we'll pay for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it started like that. So 1997, this book came, and it became a very big... it was a bestseller. In fact... in the industry, most of the chefs are using this, as... And after this book came, the Avadh cuisine popularity also went up, in the sense that a lot of hotel chains started... though Dampukht was... around those years only, Dampukht started in Maurya Sheraton. But that was only upscale and very limited. But this, because of this, we both of us, Sangeeta and myself, we got offers from the hotel chains. Then could you come and help us with organizing a Avadh cuisine, night or something like that. So it became popular. And then we had subsequent editions in later on this one. So we had a big fight with them that why did you change the cover? Okay. Because that's not looking like, Avadh cuisine. That was more of, like if you see the... So then we had the latest edition, which is more of a Lucknowi, background. And these are all typical Jashne Avadh and things like that, touch of class. So coming to the entire story, 1997 the book was introduced, and now we are in 2025, and can you believe it, we are still getting our royalty checks.
Wow, it's wonderful.
It's amazing. Since they found, there are a lot of colored pictures inside this. So when they stopped, making the hardcovers. So we went there and we said, why not? It's working out too expensive. Color printing is very expensive now. So now they are selling only the Kindle version. But even with Kindle version, we didn't expect, that it will be selling so, So it's still going on. And we are very happy, both of us, that we have made some contribution. And documentation is there to stay, whether you are there or not. And the inspiration comes from there. So, I think that's a good achievement we have done. Indeed. And I'm very, very proud of it, actually. Yeah. So in fact, Sangeeta has been doing sessions with the Oberoi school. They have their management training school where the freshers join. So she does some sessions with them, and things like that. So I think that is our contribution to our city.
And it's a good contribution. It's a wonderful contribution.
We are very proud of what we have done. And that's how it is. Yeah.
Okay, so one last question: is there any philosophy, any mantra in your life that you follow religiously, and which makes you feel and stay grounded?
So in my professional life, I learned a very few simple mantras. One of them is that you can do ordinary things by doing extraordinary intent, with the extraordinary. If your intent is good the things will automatically
fall in place.
Yeah, that's right. And you can go with the flow, do it in a very simple manner, and it will work out. That's for sure. Also, if you meet some negativity, it's better to, ignore it and then go ahead with your intent and let the intent take over that negativity. I think that's one of the major learnings which I have. In fact, if you corollary of this is that if you meet some people who are absolutely negative, you don't have to waste your time on them, actually, if you ask me, frankly. So it's like, so this is one of the things which I learned. Doing simple things with extraordinary intent is something which is, which can really, you achieve the goals, actually. So after the retirement, it's not the end of the life. You have to keep on doing positive things, which give you a sense of fulfilling, fulfillment, and it gives you satisfaction. So I think that keeps you going, and when you talk about retirement, the best thing which happens, is when you meet people and most of them youngsters or middle-aged, they tell you, sir, whatever I am today is because of you. That sounds like music to the ears, actually,
Right.
And so, I mean, it's not like something I'm, looking for, but I would say that, I would like to be seen as a mentor who changed the lives of many people. I see it as my contribution to the society that we have, generated so much of employment and entrepreneurship. Also, like to be seen as a change agent. Like my life got completely went through under entire this change. So a change agent, or maybe as a simple man, simple as that. So this is all about the philosophy, and I think ultimately it's just go with the flow and enjoy your life. That's simple as that.
Wonderful, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
You're
And it was wonderful having you.
Thank you.
And you have a very inspiring journey. And I'm sure आपकी इस जर्नी से बाकी लोग भी इंस्पायर होंगे. एंड आपके जो ड्रीम्स होंगे, आपके जो एस्पिरेशंस हैं, इट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट कि आप उसके लिए काफ़ी हार्ड वर्क करें. रास्ते में कई सैक्रिफाइसेस भी करने होंगे, बट इट विल ऑल बी वर्थ इट इन द एंड. सो दिस वॉज आवर कन्वर्सेशन विद मिस्टर राज कुमार सक्सेना. एंड आप इनकी बुक BFC पब्लिकेशंस की वेबसाइट से खरीद सकते हैं. बने रहिए हमारे साथ में. हम आपसे मिलते हैं अगले एपिसोड में. तब तक के लिए हमारे चैनल को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें.